Hello, my name's Simon Entwistle. I'm a professional tour guide operating here in the north of England. We're in the marvellous town of Blackburn in the Red Rose County of Lancashire. Here we are inside this magnificent building, Blackburn Town Hall, built way back in 1856. It was here in 1999 I met Jackie Livesey. I walked into her office, she was very, very busy, and she said, Simon, read this book. She showed me this book called simply The Road to Nab End by William Woodruff. It's all about a young boy's experience of surviving the Great Depression from the 1920s and the 1930s. In this short film, we're going to visit all the areas associated with this international best-selling book. We're in the centre of Blackburn on an area known simply as the Boulevard, beneath the famous Queen Victoria statue. Now, in the days of William Woodruff, surrounding us would have been chimneys belching smoke into the air and textile factories covering the whole area. Of course, at the time of William Woodruff, all these factories were closing down due to the recession, and work was very, very hard to find. For one day, and one day only, William Woodruff's father got a job with the authority, and his job was to clean the Queen Victoria statue, which is still here to this very day. When we arrived beneath the statue, we could understand why it needed a wash. Most of the head and dour face were covered with bird droppings. The marble-crowned sceptre and orb were all filthy. Unveiled in September 1905, in commemoration of Queen Victoria, who had died in 1901, this was the first good scrubbing the statue would ever have. Here we are on Griffin Street, the home of the Woodruff family. They lived in a typical two-up, two-down house, as you can see right now. When the Great Recession bit deeply, the family suffered. Not just them, but everyone living here on Griffin Street. Half the street worked, half the street didn't work. And the people that worked had the kindness to try and feed the next door neighbour, as well as themselves. William's grandmother was so proud, she refused to accept any charity food whatsoever. Things became so desperate here on Griffin Street that William's mother had to go into that horrible profession called prostitution to actually put food on the table. Today we are so lucky with the DHSS. In those days they had absolutely nothing. William's father made his way to the dole queue one day to be told, we've got a job for you, Mr. Woodruff. Where? A tin mine in Cornwall. I can't get there. Dole stopped. This area is known as Mill Hill. Behind me, the very, very famous Mill Hill public house, which was featured in The Road to Nab End. Just behind us, we have the River Darwen, where William is attacked by two bullies on the way home from school. He's thrown over the bridge into the water and is knocked unconscious and very, very nearly drowns. Now, his close friend, Rosie Gill, God bless her, climbed over the wall, went down the side of the banking and pulled him out of the water to save his life. He thought the world of Rosie because of this great act of kindness. Sadly, 3 years later, Rosie died at the Royal Blackburn Infirmary of appendicitis. For a brief while, the family enjoyed a lot of happiness. They left Griffin Street and moved to Livingston Road, above the smoke and smog of Blackburn. For 2 years they lived there in happiness, but when the Great Recession started to really bite, they were forced out of their home due to unemployment, and were forced to this very site here. Because at that period of time, standing here was a huge apartment block called Nab End, where over 100 families shared one toilet, one wash basin. You can imagine it was deeply depressing. Of course, we're now in the 21st century, and situated here on the site of Nab End is the Beacon Centre, a beacon of hope for the people of Blackburn's youth, a facility that certainly wasn't here in the days of William Woodruff. And there we have the road to Nab End.